I'm going to pick up, we're on the results of drinking. And what a wonderful subject, but isn't it funny how you got to deal with all sides of life and try to save a generation. I mean, wouldn't it be nice for a generation of Irish to grow up without the dominance of drink? I think that's a goal of any true Bible preacher. I read so many modern ministers, especially women, but a lot of modern men ministers have just given in and they just say it's okay to drink on occasions, drink socially, as long as you don't get drunk. The Bible says as long as you don't get drunk. And so everybody's drinking. And I just am very ashamed. Very sad. Let's look at the results of drinking. And Bill, since you're my favorite, you go ahead and start number one. We're on Roman numeral, well, it's on big B, page 144, 143.
143 in our book, isn't it?
Oh, 143.
Yep. B, the results of drinking.
So, if you drink new wine, it refreshes and makes a person's heart and blood good. And wine that makes glad the heart of man. So, grape juice is good for the digestion, variation. Variety is the spice of life. It supplies the vitamins, natural sugar, and extra energy intake.
Yeah, I mean, basically, what do you think people drank? We're not talking about in movies. We're not talking about in medieval Europe. We're talking about what did you think people drank in the Middle East?
What they drank.
What did they drink?
In Old Testament times.
Yeah, Old Testament, even New Testament times. But yes, in the Middle East, what did people normally drink?
Grape juice.
No. What did they normally drink? What was their normal drink?
As in water.
Water. They drank water. So grape juice was a variety. It was, this is fantastic. So we drink an assortment of flavors every day. You have milk. You have 7 different flavors of juice. You have smoothies and all kinds of things. They had grape juice. That was their kind of step up. And number 2, go ahead, 2 and 1 and 2, A and B. Bethany.
If you drink old wine or strong drink, it numbs the brain, making the person think that things are great. It is Satan's counterfeit of new wine and of the joy of the Lord that comes from enjoying natural foods. It impairs your ability to make right decisions. Proverbs 31, 4 and 5. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink, lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted.
So drink will affect your ability to know right and wrong, to see and discern critical points of the law. It affects you. And that's why kings should not drink. And now listen, when you're driving, you should not drink. Is it possible, Bethany? This is a loaded question. Is it possible for Christians to take a substance that could impair them? And would it be right? This is a trick question.
Only if you're very ill.
Excellent. Okay. There are times when you're in so much pain, they give you a pain medication. They tell you, do not drive. Okay. Do not operate heavy machinery. You ever seen that? On these bottles, do not operate heavy machinery because it impairs. So there are times when you have to take something, but it will impair you. And alcohol does that. All right. And number C, got a few verses to look at there, Declan.
Liquor and immoral sex always go hand in hand. Genesis 9, 20 to 24. And Noah began to be an husbandman, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine, and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his 2 brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment, and laid it upon both their shoulders, and went backward, and covered the nakedness of their father. and their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him.
Okay, thankfully we're not actually informed of all the things that happened there, but it turns out that Canaan's children are cursed for this, not just seeing their father's nakedness, but drunkenness caused him to take off all his clothes and lay down naked in the tent, and people were coming and going and walked right in there, and alcohol affected his grandchildren. Let's see what the next verse says.
Habakkuk 2, 15 to 16. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbour drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory.
Speaking to a man who maybe has good clothes and everything's great, but somebody who's trying to give him alcohol is trying to shame him, trying to embarrass him, and get him, and they do that with women in these discos. They give them spiked drinks and things in order to get them to do stupid things and very immoral things. And you got one more, Lamentations.
Lamentations.
Just after Jeremiah.
Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and shalt make thyself naked.
Wow. So when somebody's trying to clothe up themselves, we call it an inhibition. We call it an inability to just reveal just their nakedness or something they feel ashamed about. But what does alcohol do, according to these verses?
Makes you do the opposite.
That makes you, so you have no inhibitions. Okay. So is that a good thing?
No.
And yet, children are taught to, follow their heart. That's the beginning of the thing. But there should be no inhibitions. You should be able to, I don't like talking about it, but you should be able to touch. You should be able to name. You should be able to be free. And that is taught to children. So it is wicked. So it enhances, that's the last part.
It enhances the domination of the flesh.
Yep, the flesh takes over. D there, Bill. We'll go back to Habakkuk.
Okay. Liquor and violence go hand in hand.
Find Habakkuk. Almost to the very end of the Old Testament. 2:5 and then 17.
Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keepeth he at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Okay, and then 17.
17. For the violence of Lebanon shall cover thee, and the spoil of beasts which made them afraid, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Okay,
so chapter 2 is all about God's judgment, and how does he bring judgment? He gets them drunk. He says, guys, drink on. I'm not going to stop you. This is my judgment on you. And it brings incredible amount of violence. Is that not true? When there's only been, I think, one time where I went into the A&E for myself, and that was when we had our house fire in 2000. And smoke inhalation, they said I had to go to the hospital. And so I'm sitting in there, and what was all around me? There must have been 30, mainly guys. And you know what they were? They were cut, they were bleeding, it was a Friday night? I think it was a Friday night. and they were all there because of fights. It was like 1 a.m, and they were all being taken care of because of fights, being drunk.
You know, there was something on the news where the seagulls in England are stealing the beer from people, and they were attacking the people, the rubbish collectors.
To get the beer. To get the... Well, that's a great testimony. That's fantastic. Oh, well, if only people would notice. All right, back to you, Bethany. E.
Watch how the Lord in Proverbs 23 describes the life of someone who spends their time enjoying a few drinks. Proverbs 23, 29 to 35. Who hath woe, who hath sorrow, who hath contentions, who hath babbling, who hath wounds without cause, who hath redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine. Look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth its color in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. At the last it biteth like a serpent, and stingeth like an adder. Thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things. Yea, thou shalt be as he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he that lieth upon the top of a mast. They have stricken me, shalt thou say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again.
Isn't that funny? All right, so number one, Declan, what is it about somebody who enjoys a few drinks?
But can I just point out here in verse 35 that we just read, you know, when shall I awake? I will seek it yet again. So all this damage gets done to the person. This is what I always thought. So, but when you wake up, then there's an addiction. You're going to go back to it.
You're going to go back to it, even though you had an awful night. You got to go, let's do it again.
I always figured that's what it meant.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly.
yet again, yeah.
I have heard people on Monday morning saying, oh, never again, never again. Oh, the headache I've got. I was so sick. But Friday comes around and it's like, let's go out again. All right.
Okay, so we are...
Number one.
Okay, they have troubles, woe, and something. Where are we?
Go back to 29 and 30.
Okay, and sorrow.
Yes.
And arguments.
Just a second. Hey guys, go next door. All right, go ahead.
And arguments, or contentions.
Mm-hmm.
Proverbs, oh, this is a different reference. No, Proverbs 23, 29 and 30.
No, you're still in chapter 23. Just looking at 29, 30.
Do I read them all? Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who hath woe, who hath sorrow, who hath contentions, who hath babbling, who hath wounds without cause, who hath redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine.
All right, so somebody who's going just to seek it. I just want to enjoy it. You're not even trying to get drunk. It's just what you feel comfortable doing. So it's not like they that go to get drunk. It doesn't say that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they have trouble, sorrow, and arguments. Number two, Bill.
They don't make sense when they talk. They babble. 23:9 is it?
29.
29. So, who is this?
Still going on? Yep, Proverbs 23, 29.
So, who had woe, who had sorrow, who had contentions, who had babblings, who had wounds without cause?
So what does babbling mean?
Just bickering on about something that's nonsensical.
Yeah. RTE1 used to, when we first got here, they had a bit of a humor moment in the evening around 4:30. For about 10 minutes, they had two guys at a pub talking, and neither one of them made any sense. And I laughed, and I went, they're showing how foolish it is to sit there and drink, and they're talking about things, and they aren't listening to each other, and they're going on in all kinds of different directions, and they're laughing at it, going, that's you. So who have babblings? Who has things that they say that don't make any sense? Those who go to drink. Number three.
They have wounds from fights they don't remember. Who hath wounds without cause?
Yeah, I don't know how I got this black eye. I don't know why I'm here at the hospital. I don't know how I got pregnant. All this stupid stuff, okay? Next one, verse Number 4.
They look terrible, not healthy and robust.
The last part.
Who hath redness of eyes.
Yeah. This is the results of drinking. Okay. Keep going. Now, I know you can probably take a sip. You can probably drink a glass of wine. It won't make your eyes red. But if you become comfortable with wine, you will find yourself 99 times out of 100, you will find yourself where you wake up and you go, man, these years of drinking have affected me. And they do.
Well, even the law will tell you if you take one drink and you drive, and if you're stopped, they'll likely tell you you're over the limit. In
Agreed.
their own eyes, your judgment's impaired. You shouldn't be driving. So
That's right.
if the secular world can do it, well, what is how will the Bible deal with it?
I'm going to say this, probably get in trouble because it's on the internet, but I remember when William Shatner, Captain Kirk, looked trim, fit, fine, and then something happened to him about 30 years ago, he started drinking. And boy, did he blossom out. It just grew, and you can tell that's the results of alcohol. That's not the results. And why do you turn to drink? I don't know. But the point being, you can tell. Look at what alcohol has done to somebody. And it is not just him. It does it through all of Hollywood. And even normal people who don't have the wealth and stuff. Number 5, Bill.
Alcoholic drinks have a hypnotic effect when you stare at it for a while. Stare at the drink.
Yeah. Well, look at 31.
31. Look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it is given his colour in a cup, when it moveth itself all right.
All right, not all right, but all right. It seems, and people become, especially when they have it in a glass, they become enamored by the bubbles, they become enamored by the color. They're all enraptured in this thing that's just called alcohol. It's kind of like a snake hypnotizing you. Number 6 and A.
Ultimately, the drinker finds himself in all sorts of trouble, bitten with addiction to its poison. 23:32 in the last, it biteth like a serpent and stingeth like an adder.
Now notice, again, I'm making big deal of this. It didn't bite you at the first drink. It bites you in the end. But when did you make the mistake?
Well, when you take the first drink,
Yep.
your ability to decide whether it's good to get another one is already impaired, probably. So you see, it's just you're impairing yourself every time you touch it. So
Yeah. Now, you and I are talking rationally. Talk to an alcoholic who has just woken up from a stupor and you tell them, let me tell you what's happening. They have no idea and they can't comprehend the logic. This is for those of us who either have never drank or have stepped away from alcohol and we determine I'll never go back because of these things. I can teach this to people who are comfortable with drink and it will never faze them because they are addicted. And until they get tired of their addiction to even a glass of wine in the evening, you're never going to free them until they want to be freed. But you and I can talk and go, yeah, that's all right, because we're not in that. I'm just telling you, just beware when you do talk to somebody and they're not understanding, it's because they love their drink. And until they hate it,
when they wake up the following morning, the cure is get more alcohol apparently to apparently kind of sober them up.
take the edge off. Yes, all right, yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so
Its effect is disastrous, not beneficial.
Amen. Number B.
Where are we here? Okay. Lustful and remorseful for all the things you end up doing and saying when you drink. 23:33. Thine eye shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things.
Out of your mouth comes stuff from your heart that you didn't even know was in there.
And that's what it does, because even though that's why we need to be sober, so that we all wanted doing things maybe every now and again we shouldn't do, and we're in enough control to say, okay, stop, we can't do this.
That's right.
But when you have to drink, when you're drinking, then of course you don't have that ability to stop, so you just say what you shouldn't say.
And
what you shouldn't do.
yeah. Number C, Bill.
Physically sick, dizzy, and unable to stand or walk straight.
Now I love how this is described. Look at verse 34.
Yea, thou shalt as he
Thou shalt be.
be as he lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he lies upon the top of a mast.
Okay, what is that describing?
I suppose the sea is a bit rough, is it?
Yeah. And where is our drunkard? He's up in the mast. And he can't get up because the whole world is spinning around him. So it's describing not a guy on the boat, but the guy at the top. This is the most moving part of the ship. It's swinging back and forth. And when you're drunk, you can't walk a straight line. It's just it just makes you feel like you're at the top of a mast in a stormy sea.
Emotionally sick, blaming everything and everyone around you instead of blaming yourself.
Yeah.
Verse 35, they have stricken me, shalt thou say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again. You will wish it was all a bad dream.
Yep. And then E.
Addicted, dependent upon it, and not able to escape its hold on you. They have stricken me, shalt thou say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again.
So Solomon, he's got something here not by his own understanding. The Holy Spirit's revealed it to him. Unfortunately, Solomon didn't quite abide by it. All right, F, Bill.
Liquor and self-centeredness go hand in hand. Drinking has the habit of becoming more important than even the welfare of your own children. Joel 3:3.
Again, those little books right after Ezekiel comes Daniel, Hosea, Joel.
After Ezekiel, isn't it?
Yes, after Ezekiel, then Daniel, then Joel. Daniel, Hosea, Joel.
Oh, yeah, it's not written. Joel 3:3, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not good. Okay. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink.
Now he's describing Israel, and he's describing the nations around Israel, and he's describing a day called Armageddon. Things are so bad, and we're there, where in order for immoral sex, in order for harlotry, they sell a boy. In order to get a drink, they sell their daughter just to get a drink. That's how bad alcohol will be part of people. People who have no time for their kids usually are drinking. All right. G? Not you. Oh, no, you just read that. Bethany.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
You didn't finish that one.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I think it's just people will end up selling
Almost anything. Yeah, sorry.
Liquor and religion go hand in hand, Isaiah 28:7-8. But they also have erred through wine, and through strong drink are out of the way. The priest and the prophet have erred through strong drink. They are swallowed up of wine, they are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision, they stumble in judgment, for all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there is no place clean.
Wow. And they're dealing with priests, dealing with people who are supposed to be religious. And yet they've been drinking and their tables are full of their own vomit.
Almost all the world's religions use either drugs or alcoholic drink to enhance their spirituality in the worship of their God.
Yeah. H. Declan.
Drinking in moderation is possible, but rarely maintained, and always ends in disaster. Just as with anything, it is possible to do something and it not hurt you. 1 Corinthians 6:12.
I've known people who drink and they've never had an accident. Their wife's still with them. They've never been drunk. Is it possible to live that way? Yes. It is possible for people to hide their sin or to live in a little bit of sin and maintain it. We call it functioning addicts. They may be taking pills and going to work and still functioning. I know people who drink a whole bottle of whiskey every evening, and then they are up at work in the morning the next day and nobody knows the difference. They've just been drinking so long. Now, I'm using that not as moderation, but I'm just telling you, people can handle for a while their sin, and to be like, well, I guess they're okay. They're not the reason why you do or don't do anything. You don't say, well, I guess they can handle it, so can I. That's not true. Don't ever use that as a reason. Look at 1 Corinthians 6:12.
All things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any.
That is such a good verse.
I have alcohol in brackets within that verse.
Excellent. Could be anything. Could be anger. Could be lust, alcohol, the whole range. Yeah, it's possible to be angry. Just be careful that it doesn't become sin. It's possible to live in this world and all the whole filth and stuff, and you're living and you're seeing it, but it doesn't become your life. You will not be brought under the power of any. Finish the last part.
Okay. So it is possible to do something and it not hurt you, but that is not the way to tell if you should do it or not. We have to do what is right by God's standards and not what we can get away with. Or not what we can think we can even get away with.
Good. Yeah, I'll give you an illustration. My kids in my neighborhood that I hung around with as a little boy, my friends, would go and steal chewing gum or a candy bar or a sweet. And because they didn't get caught, I thought, well, I could do it. And just because you're not caught or you don't get in trouble is not the reason why you should. That's the point, okay? Back to you, Bill. Finding Habakkuk again.
Drinking liquor drives you away from your family. So it's Habakkuk 2:5. This again, is it before Ezekiel?
After.
After.
It's almost to Matthew. So start Matthew and go backwards from there.
I was going to leave a bookmark there because we keep going.
I know. Well, Habakkuk is showing the judgment of God through alcohol. And so it's a good one to run back to and keep going back to.
So,
Habakkuk. Now keep going to the left just a little. Before Zechariah.
all right.
And Bob's your uncle.
There we go.
Yeah.
So
2:5.
2:5. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Now, in reality, we're dealing with probably the Antichrist there, and his whole attitude about everything and everyone. But in the middle of there, it says that he won't keep at home. He doesn't want to be anywhere near family. He doesn't care about family, and alcohol will take you away from your family. So your home and family.
Family, because it never can satisfy the emptiness of the heart.
All right, and Bethany, Jay.
Drinking liquor is usually pushed upon people, Habakkuk 2:15.
Yeah, watch this.
Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness.
So let me tell you, would Jesus have offered alcoholic wine to that crowd there at that? No, because the Bible says, woe to the one who gives his neighbor, not your enemy. You may want, to hurt your enemy, whatever goes through your mind, but to give your neighbor drink, because there's always an ulterior motive. You always want to do a business deal over alcohol. You always want to take somebody and take advantage of them. That's why you use alcohol. Keep going.
People don't normally go after the drink unless it is greatly advertised and pressured upon them. See any conversation at a pub between those who are drinking and those who are just sitting at the bar.
It's hilarious. I go on, you will. Here, have a drink. I'll take care of it. Give them what I'm drinking. And they don't want to drink alone.
The funny thing is, that's it. There's a desire for drinkers, for other people to drink. And if you're not drinking, there's a problem, or there'll be offence. I mean, we all perhaps have different diets, but I don't get offended if you don't copy my diet. I mean, if I'm eating raw eggs, you're not, I'm not going to get all upset, but drinkers seem to it's just part of it, it's just part of what it does to them. I've heard people complaining that I wasn't drinking in places or meetings and stuff. When he's not drinking, like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Problem. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, that's what they do.
Excellent. All right. Then there's beer, Bill. C and 1.
C and 1, is it? Beer is made using basically the same process as that of wine, except instead of using grapes, barley, grain is used.
Okay, 2.
You can get Heineken 0.0 now.
Well, yeah, they have synthetic, and so I don't know how they get rid of the alcoholic content or things. And all I know is nobody drinks that stuff. The sale.
I've had it.
Oh no, I know that. I'm just telling you the percentage. Like 95% drink alcoholic, and there's 5% who end up drinking the non-alcoholic, the 0.0. It's just not selling, because when people go to drink, they want the alcohol.
I think it's catching on.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
And
Well, a lot of people are getting so health conscious
That is a good thing.
It is helping them to.
But
Try to
Steve has Guinness now, and you know,
That's a
I
contradiction.
that one.
You've got non-alcoholic spirits now as well, like gin and that. There's no alcohol. You see them in the supermarkets and that.
That's
And all
right.
that. So
But like I can tell you from what I remember of Heineken, it's exactly the same without any
Yeah.
alcohol.
All right.
it's the same.
is it not though a problem if people have been into alcohol and then try to substitute something that tastes like it? Isn't that going to cause them to go back?
It's usually a slippery slope, but I even call it worse, and that is abstain from the appearance of evil. So can you imagine if you came to my house and I was drinking a 0.0 Guinness? It's just like, no, I could drink any number of other
You could
things.
say the other aspect, though, that you're encouraging people to view that, as being a way.
I understand, and that may be true, but there's a third option, and that third option is just to abstain. And that's what the Bible is saying, is that there are people who are struggling to get out, and I want to help them get out. But I'm not going to drink something that looks like what they're used to drinking, trying to tell them, but this is a better form of what you were drinking. Whereas I just say, no, I found something much better, and that is I have grape juice, and I have fruit juices, and I have carbonated, you can drink Coke and stuff like
I'm
this.
afraid I draw a line there because I do take 0.0.
I understand, but I'm telling you, you're going to have to ponder this verse that says, abstain from the appearance of evil. And so if what I'm drinking is something that is evil, if what I'm doing is something that is evil or appears to be evil, as a Christian, I have to live separate.
It's taking too far.
Maybe. It's just something I think the Lord would deal with you about in time, that you go, you know what, I don't even need to do it there are better things. Drink is, like I said, when I first started this lesson, and that was that this is one of the 3 most hated lessons in it all, because it deals with our very core, our very lifestyle of what we're comfortable with. We always like to have something that's like the world.
That gives taste as well, and that's what I go for, It's, you can overdo it then by taking everything out,
Well, like I say, I think the Lord will help you understand in time that as we go through this, you're like, man, I just don't want to be associated with something that is by name. I mean, honestly, if I were to be, as a pastor or as a Christian drinking Guinness or anything that nobody can tell, is that, I can see it's a 0.0. And I just think it's the appearance. It is a command. I'm going to go, if I can find it here, because I'm not in 1 Thessalonians. Let's go there. And he doesn't say just abstain from evil. He says abstain from the appearance of evil. And it's in 1 Thessalonians. And chapter 5 and verse 21. 1 Thessalonians 5, 21.
22.
Nope, I want 21.
Oh, okay.
And 1 Thessalonians. Keep going almost to Hebrews. There we go. 1 Thessalonians 5, 21 and 22. Watch what he says first off.
Prove all things, hold fast that which is good, abstain from all appearance of evil.
No, that's enough. So I need to prove that what I'm doing is right. I need to prove to myself that, okay, this is right. Then I hold fast to it. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to go the way of the world or whatever. And my core thing is I abstain. Abstain means completely cut out all appearance of evil. Like I would never wear a t-shirt that has Black Sabbath and Judas Priest and Metallica. I would not wear a t-shirt, even if it was just a t-shirt. And I would never go to their concert, but I wouldn't wear a t-shirt that says it. And so there is, you say, well, that's extreme. I know. That's how we see things instead of, well, I have a verse that says, abstain from things that appear evil.
Isn't it also the concept that, okay, maybe I can do this, but what is actually the best for me to do?
I can do better. Yeah. Yep.
What
So,
effect will it have on others? I mean, I might be doing something okay, but others, for whatever reason, might get the impression that it wasn't okay. You know, I mean, like I could have a bottle of Heineken full of water, like they'd be just drinking. I'm just drinking water, but the people might think I'm drinking Heineken or something. You know.
my goodness, even that would be, yeah. I'm just, if somebody came into church and we had beer cans all over the front, I clean it all up because I want to abstain. I want to get rid of the appearance of evil here, like people come into the church, but before they come in, they drink and then they throw their cans on the side. It's just we live differently. We live clean. We don't live perfect, but we do clean.
The purpose of drinking beer is the same as that of wine, to help a person relax and unwind. A Christian does not need a beer or a glass of wine to help them end a day, any more than a child does. An adult who looks to any drink for help at the end of the day, to relax, is only looking for a cheap substitute to prayer and fellowship with God. They are carnal and backslidden and need to repent.
Yeah, any kind of Christian that's sitting there going to alcoholic wine needs to repent because they're looking to the wrong thing instead of their own spiritual walk. Number 3.
Even though the alcoholic content of beer is low, that is not a reason to drink it. Most people who do drink beer drink a lot of it, not just a sip or two. At the end of the evening, the beer drinker is full of alcohol and is usually unfit to drive and is unfit to be a Christian.
Yeah, and those are harsh words, but it's got to be because Christians have to start saying, all right, I got to cut this thing out. We think we have to cut everything out. We have no fun at all. When no, these are just key things, especially when dealing with wine and strong drink. These are things that have to be broken to be actually living free. D, sorry?
When you get saved as well, sure, your idea of fun changes. You go from bad fun to good fun. You can still have fun, but just God makes you a new creature, so you have different desires. And now where maybe you wanted to go to the pub, now you're looking forward to going to a Bible study.
Amen.
You know? And so,
So biblical warnings, Bill. 1.
So drink is like a god to some people. Isaiah 5, I don't know. Isaiah 5. So woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that continue until night, till wine inflame them.
So would you call them an addict?
Definitely.
And they just live for drinking. All right, it's almost like they worship their alcohol. 2. Bethany.
Drink is made out to be a proof of manhood and strength. Isaiah 5:22. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine, and men of strength to mingle strong drink.
Whoa, you're stupid if you got all this health and you got muscles and you've got ability and you turn to drink. But it's made to be a proof of manhood, which is a stupid thing. 3, Declan.
Is that what about, oh yes, 3. Drink is not to be a social event in your home or anywhere. And back to 2:15.
We're back at Habakkuk.
Habakkuk.
Just before Malachi, Matthew.
Habakkuk 2:15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbour drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness.
So it's not a social event where people are being, I mean, I don't know how here's somebody who's got their whole family and they run a family pub. Can you imagine the curse that's on that family? Now, they're making a lot of money. But I find out, I have met people who, after just 20 years of that, they sold the pub and they found, finally they had a family, whereas when they were having the joy of that pub was just empty. It's not to be something that you do. And we're back at 4. Bill.
God says wine and drink will make a mockery out of you. Proverbs 20 verse 1. Wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging. Whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. Okay. Do I read all that?
And then the last part.
Sorry. In other words, the person who drinks is dumb.
Yeah. All right. Bethany, fine.
Drink is not a disease, but an act of the will against God. Proverbs 23:35. They have stricken me, shalt thou say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I awake? I will seek it yet again.
So we're dealing with something, once alcohol has a hold of you, it doesn't matter what anybody says, doesn't even matter what God says. You're just going to do it. You're going to do it in defiance to God, when we're showing verse after verse after verse that says don't. All right. Let's see. I don't think we can go very far. We'll go ahead and do E and 1. Let's do Declan.
The usual reasons for drinking. Why people drink intoxicating liquors. Number 1, to forget troubles and heartaches. Sometimes God wants you to have your troubles, to get you to see you are only reaping what you something. Galatians 6:7-8. Galatians 6:7-8. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting.
Okay, so what's your fill in?
Reaping what you sow.
All right, so does God sometimes want you to go through some really hard times?
Absolutely.
Because he's going to say, I want you to reap what you sow. I want you to realize you put yourself in this bed, you're going to sleep there. Okay, keep going.
To try to remove God's payback for sin is to ignore God and to reap more troubles. Then there are the times when you are called upon to suffer for being in the right, as in Philippians 1:29. For unto you it is given in the behalf of Christ not only to believe on him, but also to suffer for his sake.
And then is there one more?
Yes, so there are the times when you're called upon to suffer for being in the right. Who would run to a bottle to cope with God's blessings? Matthew 5:11 to 12. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you.
Look at that verse. When men revile you, that's yell at you, persecute you, say all manner of evil against you, Jesus doesn't say, I understand, like modern psychology. Go home, have a drink, take the edge off, don't take them so seriously. He doesn't say that. He says, rejoice. Don't turn to alcohol. So when you are suffering, you don't turn to drink, you don't turn to drugs, you don't turn to something to cope. Not a Christian. I understand what other people do it, but no Christian should have to turn to drink to forget their troubles and heartaches. So also do the last part there.
There is another verse which I don't agree with, by the way, but which says, take a little or something.
Wine for light often is thy stomach's often infirmity.
Yeah.
Oh, you're looking at Proverbs chapter 31, where he says to forget your troubles and sorrows, right? Yeah, we talked about that at length, and our dilemma is, all right, is there ever a time when a drug should be used to help somebody cope? And yes, when somebody is on the edge of suicide, when somebody is unable to sleep, you give them something that knocks them out. We do that with medicines today, but in the Bible days, they had no medicines. They had strong wine. They had the ability for them to just knock them out, and you give it to them so they get some sleep. I have been in the presence of people who have been up for 3 days. You know what they needed? Sleep. They needed something to knock them out, because if you don't get sleep, you will go crazy. So you give serious drugs, and that's where the verse is. It's not saying, oh, I've got troubles. Everybody's got troubles. But we're talking about troubles that are on the edge of suicide or on the edge of insanity. And the idea is, don't be stupid and not use what's at your hand. Use something that will knock them out. So go ahead, finish the last one there, Declan.
Who would run to a bottle to cope with God's blessing?
We just read that. And then the boxed section.
Sorry, did we do that? We did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. For a Christian to try and use anything other than Christ to cope with problems is like a married man running to a harlot to help him cope with his life's problems. It is just as wicked in God's eyes.
Yeah, because you're using the wrong thing. All right, so use the Lord. Okay, we're going to stop there.